What if I told you that a man thousands of years ago overcame the unbreakable laws of death? What if his story was not just a myth, but a living promise that still challenges humanity today? This is the story of Elijah, the prophet who defied kings, false gods, and even death itself. And his legacy could change the way you see the end of life. Elijah rose in dark times. Israel was consumed by spiritual chaos. King Ahab and his wife Jezebel had led the people into the worship of Baal and Ashtoreth, idols demanding human sacrifices and degrading practices. The prophets of Yahweh were hunted and killed. The voice of truth was fading. Then God raised a man whose name meant, "My God is Yahweh." This man would not only speak words, he would speak with fire. Elijah confronted King Ahab with a terrible decree. "As the Lord, the God of Israel, lives whom I serve, there will be neither dew nor rain in the next few years, except at my word." 1 Kings 17:1. For 3.5 years the sky closed, the earth cracked, animals perished, the false gods remained silent. Elijah had declared spiritual war, but the greatest challenge was yet to come. On Mount Carmel, before the entire nation and 450 prophets of Baal, Elijah proposed a test. The God who answers by fire, he is God. The prophets of Baal cried out, danced, and even cut themselves, waiting for their idol to respond. The silence was absolute. When Elijah's turn came, he rebuilt the altar of the Lord, placed the sacrifice, and to increase the challenge, he drenched it with water. Then he prayed, "Answer me, Lord, answer me, so these people will know that you, Lord, are God." And the fire fell. It consumed not only the sacrifice, but the altar itself, the stones, and even the water. The people fell face down, crying, "The Lord, he is God! The Lord, he is God!" It was a victory, but also a death sentence. Jezebel vowed to kill Elijah. Hunted, Elijah fled into the desert. He collapsed under a broom bush and prayed, "I have had enough, Lord. Take my life." Here the story takes a deep human turn. Elijah, the man who had called down fire, also faced depression and despair. Like many leaders, warriors, and people of faith, he felt the weight of loneliness and failure. But God did not respond with rebuke. He sent an angel. The angel touched Elijah and said, "Get up and eat." On hot stones lay freshly baked bread and a jar of water. God's provision not only nourished his body, but his spirit. Elijah regained his strength and continued his mission. He mentored his successor Elisha and kept proclaiming the truth. But the appointed day came. Elijah walked with Elisha through Gilgal, Bethel, and Jericho. At every stop, prophets reminded Elisha, "Do you know that today the Lord will take your master from you?" Elisha answered sorrowfully, "Yes, I know. Do not speak of it." They both knew the end was near. They crossed the Jordan River. Elijah struck the waters with his cloak, and the river parted, as it had centuries before with Moses. On the other side, Elijah asked Elisha, "Tell me, what can I do for you before I am taken from you?" Elisha did not ask for wealth, power, or glory. He asked, "Let me inherit a double portion of your spirit." Elijah replied, "You have asked a difficult thing, yet if you see me when I am taken from you, it will be yours." The wind began to roar. Leaves swirled as if aware that something supernatural was about to occur. Then it happened. A whirlwind arose violently, but it was no ordinary wind. It was a chariot of fire drawn by fiery horses. The chariot separated the two men. Elijah was lifted, not as a mere man, not as a lifeless body. He was transformed on his journey to the eternal. His feet left the earth. His face turned toward the throne of the Almighty. Elisha cried out through tears, my father, the chariots and horsemen of Israel." Elijah disappeared into the heavens. He did not know the grave. He did not taste the corruption of the flesh. Elisha took up the cloak that Elijah had dropped and returned to the Jordan. He struck the waters and exclaimed, "Where now is the Lord, the God of Elijah?" The river parted once more, the legacy continued, but the story does not end there. Centuries later, during the transfiguration of Jesus, who appeared alongside Moses to speak with the Messiah, Elijah. His mission did not end with his ascension. He remains remembered as a forerunner of the coming of the Lord. Elijah's story is not just a tale from the past. It is a window into a future where death is not the end. It is the testimony that those who walk with God can transcend the laws of the physical world. Elijah did not die. He was called to the eternal, and that hope remains open for all who believe. Lord God Almighty, the same who called Elijah from the solitude of the wilderness to the mountain where your fire descended, today I lift my voice as Elisha lifted his eyes when he saw the prophet depart. You who speak in the gentle whisper and the mighty thunder, teach me to hear your voice amid the storm. Just as Elijah walked paths of obedience, facing kings, false gods, and his own frailty, grant me the courage to confront the challenges of my time. When discouragement overwhelms me, remind me of the bread and water you sent to your servant under the juniper tree. Nourish my body and renew my spirit. And when the road becomes long and lonely, show me the Jordan I must cross and give me the faith to strike its waters, confident that you will open a way where there seems to be none. Allow me to recognize the legacy you have placed in my hands, just as Elisha received the mantle, so that I too may continue the work you have established. And when the day of my final calling arrives, Lord, do not let me fear death, but let me see in it the chariot of fire that will carry me into your presence. May my life, like Elijah's, be a testimony that those who walk with you never walk alone. In the name of your Son Jesus, who spoke with Elijah on the glorious